Well, it looks like this administration would now like to keep us from getting embarrassing information about them because they don't like this bill. Oh, we have to give too many reports to Congress. There has to be too much transparency. It's burdensome to have to be open about these contracts. But the fact of the matter is we are spending an incredible amount of money on these outside contracts. And from what we have seen, our taxpayers are not being protected from waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption. Just look what went on in Iraq. Halliburton had contracts for logistical purposes, for Restore Oil. We were told we needed them to get a contract without any competition because they're the only ones. This is what we were told in the very beginning when we asked, why did they get this contract in Iraq with no other competition? Well, they're the only ones who know how to put out the oil well fires when we go to war. They got a contract without competition on a cost-plus basis, even though they had a history of overcharging the taxpayers. And then we found out that later they didn't do anything about putting out oil well fires in the first Gulf War. It was Bechtel, not Halliburton. We were told it was civil servants who had done it in giving this award to the contractor. But then we found out it was the political people who did it. Halliburton was given special treatment. Other contractors were given special treatment by not having competition. Competition benefits the consumers, and when the government is the payor, the consumer, we are deprived of what the market forces can bring. So these contractors got no bid contracts. I made a proposal on the House floor when we had one of these appropriations bills to say that if any contractor overcharges us $100 million or more, they ought to be barred from future contracts. The chairman at that time of the Armed Services Committee stood up and said, well, we can't have an amendment like this. We haven't even held hearings on anybody who's charged us over $100 million. Well, why hadn't they held hearings? Why didn't the Armed Services Committee hold hearings? I'll yield myself an additional minute.
The gentleman is yielded.
The fact of the matter is, in recent years, we've had an enormous outpouring of money spent in Iraq, in Homeland Security, in dealing with Hurricane Katrina. And we've seen the same mistakes over and over again. No competition contracts. Cost-plus contracts. And we've seen what the result has been. Wasted taxpayers' dollars. That is why this legislation has been put together. It has been a bill to require that if there's an emergency to give a contract, give it. But then have bidding within a year. Gasoline prices charged by Halliburton were considered highway robbery. Parsons built just a handful, 20 of the 142 health clinics they were paid to build. Human sewage leaked out of the roof of a police academy. In Hurricane Katrina, they contracted, subcontracted, and finally they paid the guy to come with a truck to take away debris. Every markup in every one of those subcontractors was passed on to the taxpayers. We've had a contract to build a border for our Homeland Security that cost us billions of dollars that didn't work. We had a contract to help the Coast Guard get the state-of-the-art ships, and they didn't meet standards. We need reform in this area. If that's called micromanaging, that we want transparency, this is the type of reform we need, and we need something we didn't have before. A lot more oversight. We've got to keep people honest. And I'm shocked when I hear conservatives say they care about taxpayers' dollars and then don't want competition. And I'm shocked when they say taxpayers' money are being used wisely and then we find out it's being poured away.
The gentleman has expired.
I urge support for this bill, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves.